HOD Creatives, welcome back to another exciting tutorial on how to make this beautiful bony spiral turban cap you're seeing right here on your screen. If this is something you would like to learn, then you have to watch this video to the end. And if you are not subscribed, please do also hit the subscribe button, turn on your notification bell, and a creative requested for this video. So let's get right into the class. Alright, welcome back. You already saw the turban we are going to be making, that beautiful bony turban cap, and this is the material I'm going to be using. Is a lycra material, a very stretchy lycra material, and very soft also. It's very soft and very stretchy, very stretchy, and it's stretchy on all sides. You can use raw silk. Raw silk is stretchy in one side, and this is stretchy in different sides. You can use poly, you can use raw silk, you can use shimmer, any stretchy fabric you can use it, either soft or not soft, you can use it. And this is boning, and it's an ½ inches boning. This is plastic boning. It's advisable for you to use a plastic boning, because if you use a sewable boning, it might be collapsing or breaking at the middle. So it's better you use the plastic boning. Any size is fine. This is ½ inches. You can use 3/4, you can use quarter, and your pin, your tape rule, and all that. So let's get right into the measurement. You're going to fold your fabric into two, just the way you see on your screen, and you go ahead and take your measurement of 22 inches. 22 inches, and by the time you open it up, you have 42 inches. So you can do with 22, 42, 44, 42, 46, right? So the length of the cap, that part is the width. So the length of the cap is 27 inches. I have 27 inches here. You can use 26, you can even use 30 inches. This fabric is very stretchy, that's why I'm using 27. If it's raw silk you are using, please go ahead and use 30 inches. It's because this fabric is very stretchy, that's why I'm using that 27 inches. And this is the band. It's you are going to cut the same length, as in the same wideness of the body of the cap. So remember that we cut on fold 22 inches. So we are also going to mark this on fold 22 inches for the length. That the length of the cap is going to be the same thing with the length of the band, sorry, it's going to be the same thing with the length of the cap. So I have 22 inches on fold here, and the width is 4.5. The width of the cap is 4.5 inches for the width. 4.5 inches for the width. So all you need to do for this band is a round band. It's round. So all you need to do for the band is just to go ahead and fold it into two and stitch it, just to keep it in place. That's, make sure it's the right side. You are folding it to the right side, not the wrong side. You fold it to the right side, you go ahead and stitch it all the way down, just to keep it in place, right? Okay, so because we are going to attach it to the body of the turban, right? So the next thing we are going to do now is to pick the body of the turban, and you go ahead and unpin it, and you spread it so that we can make the markings. So here is how we are going to mark this. You are going to mark it down. Try and mark your fabric down, and we are marking from the side of the 44 inches. Remember, the length is 27, the width is 44, so we are marking on that 44 inches. So the first marking is 1 inches. So you're going to go ahead and mark that 1 inches all the way down, and you go ahead and rule it. Mark your 1 inches from the top of the fabric. You go ahead and mark 1 inches, and you rule the 1 inches just the way you're seeing on the screen. right? So when you're done with that 1 inches, the next marking is going to be 2 inches. You are going to go ahead and mark 2 inches. 2 inches, just the way you are seeing on the screen. So you mark 2 inches for the second line. You rule it all the way down. So the first one is 1 inches, the second one is 2 inches, the third one is going to be 1 inches also. So that 1 inches is going to be for seam allowance, as in just not seam allowance per se, the spacing is going to be for the spacing. Now for this 1 inches, if you don't want to use 1 inches, you can use half inches. If you don't want your spacing to be too wide, you can use half inches, but here I'm using 1 inches. And when I was done, I feel like the spacing is too wide. You understand? So you can go ahead and use half inches if you are using a very stretchy fabric. But if it's poly, what's it called, you are using raw silk, please use 1 inches. So go ahead and mark or do all your marking. 1 inches, 2 inches, 1 inches, 2 inches, 1 inches, 2 inches, 1 inches, 2 inches, and you rule your line. And I have 5 to 2 inches 5, because that's 2 inches is where we are going to fix the boning. So I have the 2 inches 5. My boning, I'm going to cut it out in 5 places also. We'll get to that part later. So the next thing you are going to do now is to go ahead and pick your pleats. Make sure your lines are meeting. Make sure they are meeting, they are on the same line. I don't know if I'm making sense. Make sure they are on the same line. Just watch what I'm doing on the screen. Make sure they are on the same line, the front and the back. Make sure they're on the same line. Then you go ahead and pin, and you stitch it down all the way down. So you are stitching on that 1 inches. So you go ahead and pick the next one. We are skipping the 1 inches marking, and we are picking the 2 inches. So you also go ahead and stitch it all the way down. So we are going to repeat this process, and we are going to stitch it all the way down. And remember, we are stitching 5 loop. You are calling loop, yes. When you are done, you attach your band. So here we are. I've gone ahead to sew my pleats. I've made my pleats. I've attached my band. That's my band, and this is the pleat. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 pleats, and you can see the spacing at the middle. That's 1 inch spacing at the middle, and this is the leftover. So the next thing we are going to do now is to insert our boning. But before inserting your boning, you need to close one part. So this, just take one part, one side of the cap, one side of the cap. This is the back and this is the front. So just take one side of the cap, the front of the cap, the front of the fabric. So go ahead, those pleats that you make, those 5 pleats that you make, you are going to collapse it. Just watch the way I'm collapsing. Watch the screen. You are going to just open it up and collapse it, just the way you are seeing on the screen. Then you pin it down. You go ahead and collapse all the 5 pleats that we made. You go ahead and collapse them, just the way you are seeing, just the way you are seeing on the screen. You collapse the 5 pleats. So when you are done collapsing them, collapse and pin. I don't know if that's the right word for it. Just make it flat and pleat it and pin it, sorry. Then you go ahead and mark 1.5 inches. 1.5 inches. You go ahead and mark your 1.5 inches all the way up before to the last pleats. Remember, it's 5 pleats. Then you stitch on it. Don't stitch on your band though. Just stitch on. You can go ahead and stitch on your band. It does not even stop anything. So as you can see, I've gone ahead and stitch it, and this is what we have. Can you see? Right. So you are not going to close the other side, because we are going to pass our boning through that other side. Yeah, through that other side. That's where we are going to pass our boning. So this other side, we close it just to keep the boning in place, right? So the next thing you are going to do now is to get your turban and make sure you place it in 2 places, as in just get the midpoint, the middle of it. So when you get the middle of it, you get your head circumference. So my head circumference is 22, which is supposed to be 11 inches. Now the fabric is very stretchy, so I'm going to be using 10 inches. I'm going to be using 10 inches. So I'm going to mark the 10 inches in this side. You turn it to the other side and mark your 10 inches again. Make sure you mark this part down. Make sure you mark it down before you proceed, because if you not mark it down before you proceed, you might find it very difficult to mark it later. So just mark it down and leave it there. Just mark it down. Make sure your marking is showing, and you leave it. Then you pick your boning. So the length of the boning we are going to be using here is 58 inches. This boning is, the length is 58 inches. I cut out 58 inches in 5 places. 58 inches in 5 places. If you are using a very stretchy fabric just like mine, you can use 60 inches. But if you are using raw silk, you cannot use up to this 58. You use like 48 or 50 if you are using raw silk. If you are using raw silk, because raw silk does not stretch that much. But if you are using a very stretchy fabric, you go ahead and use 60. 58 is fine, and you cut out 5, and you use your masking tape to tape the edge, or you burn it so that it will not poke out from the other side. Then you go ahead and insert your boning. So you insert it one after the other. So the inserting is very easy. It's not that stressful, because the pleat we made is wider than the elastic. So when you go ahead and insert the boning, you see we have excess left. So you push this excess inside. You push it until everything goes inside. Even if it's more than this 58, it will still go inside, because this my fabric it's very stretchy. So just go ahead and push it. If you are using a similar fabric like my lycra fabric, any lycra fabric, then you push it and make sure you have space of 1.5 inches, just like the previous side that we left 1.5 inches space. So you also leave 1.5 inches space here. But our advice, if you fix one, pin it and stitch it down before you go to the next one. Don't pin it and leave it, it will come out. So pin it, stitch it down, and move to the next one. So you go ahead and just keep inserting your boning just like that. If you watch this video to this point and you have not subscribed, please do well to hit my subscribe button, turn on your notification bell, so that when I will post video every week, you'll be the first to be notified. And to my old subscribers, thanks for always coming back here to watch my video. Thanks for your support, thanks for your comment, thanks for your like, and thanks for the share. I really appreciate all that. And if this is the first time you are coming across my video, please do not leave this channel without subscribing. I promise you are going to enjoy it here. So let's go on, let's continue. So just go ahead and insert all the 5 boning. That is, if you are making 5, you can actually make 4, you can make 6, depends on what you want. So just go ahead and make. And if you don't want it as big as mine, you can reduce your measurement, especially if you are using a very stretchy fabric. You can reduce your measurement to 40 inches to 38 inches. The fabric, as in the fabric, you can reduce it. So just know that the more you reduce your fabric, you also reduce your boning. You understand? Yeah. So just keep inserting your boning, and don't forget to leave your space of 1.5 at the end, just the way you are seeing on the screen, and stitch it down. So as you can see, at this point I'm done inserting all my boning, and the coiling is not here. See the way it's just coiling. So as you can see, this is 5. Like I said earlier, you can use 4, you can use 6, right? So the next thing you are going to do is you are going to take the back of the cap, the back of the cap. you are going to look for it. The struggle is not here. So you are going to be a lot, you are going to be very patient with this cap. Very patient, because the more you are stretching it, the more it's just coming back together. So you look for the back of the cap, just like the back of the turban. So you turn it to the wrong side and you go ahead and stitch it just the way you are seeing. You can see I've gone ahead to stitch it. You stitch it inside to the wrong side. Can you see? So I've gone ahead to stitch it. You can see now it's remaining the side. You can see the both side is still open. It's just the back I stitch. Hope you see it's just the back. So the side, the two side is still open, right? So the next thing we are going to do now is you are going to take your needle and thread. You are going to run a gather stitch on the both side of the bony, you know, that this side and the other side. So you are going to take your needle and thread. You are going to run your gather stitch all the way to the back. So you are going to start your gather stitch from the band. You will not gather the band, but before you do that, first go ahead and run your gather stitch on the back. That's that back, just the way you are seeing on the screen. You go ahead and run the gather stitch before you go to the side. First, that part that we sew, that back that we sew, yeah, so you run the gather stitch all the way to the back. You start from the midpoint all the way to the back. Okay, so yeah, so when we're done with the when you're done running your gather stitch, you secure your thread firmly. Secure it very well. That's it. So when you're done, cut out the excess, and then we can now go to the side that I mentioned earlier. Can you see the back? Yes. So we can now go to the back, the side that I measured earlier. So you start from immediately after the band, you start your gather. So you go ahead and run another gather stitch on that side. You run it all the way to the back, all the way to the back. So you go ahead and run another gather stitch. So when you get to the back, you pull tightly, then you secure your thread. Secure it properly. Yeah. So cut out your excess thread, knot your thread again, then you go to the other side. The other side, and repeat the same thing. You repeat the same thing. You run your gather stitch again on both sides. On both sides. Remember, we have done the back, so it's the side. You are running the stitch now all the way to the back again, all the way to the back. Now from this point, you are going to tack. It's everything now is tacking. So before you start tacking, please go ahead and weave your work. Weave every side, weave the band part, weave the back side, weave the side, weave it. When you are done weaving, because every other thing now is going to be, you are going to tack. I know you cannot add lining to this cap, so the inside will be open. So it's better you weave, or make sure you weave. If you are making it for a client, make sure you weave. I'm not weaving because of the purpose of the tutorial, but if I'm making it for a client, I will weave every part of it that is open. So when you are done, you go ahead. You can see how the back is looking. So you go ahead and arrange it the way you want it. You see this cap, you can style it any way. You can style it any way you like. So just go ahead and twist it twist it the way you want, then you tack from that point and pointing. You go ahead and tack that side, you tack it, then the other one too, you roll it just the same way and you also tack it. Basically it's just tacking. You just arrange, you tack, you arrange, you tack, you arrange, you tack. That's just it. And while arranging this back, make sure you are twisting it to make it small, as in let it curve very well to that back. Let it curve very well to that back. So you just twist it carefully and you go ahead and tack it down, or tack it from the outside to the inside of the cap, just the way you are seeing. So when you are done with one side, you repeat the same thing on the other side. When you are done tacking one side, you go ahead to the other side, you also repeat the same thing. What you did here, you go to the other side, and if it's not staying very well, maybe you have tacked it, it's not tacking very well, you still retack it. Then you can see this is one side and that's the other side. So you go ahead again and twist it to the opposite direction. I don't know if I'm making sense. You twist it to the opposite direction, you go ahead and tack it again. You go ahead and tack. So you keep arranging and you keep tacking. You keep arranging, you keep tacking. It's not that difficult to tack. It's very easy to tack, especially if you are using a lacquer material, because the material is soft. Not even only lacquer, any soft material, as long as it's soft material you are using, the tacking will be very easy for you, because you need a lot of tacking. So the tacking will be very easy if the material is not too hard, if it's not too thick. You understand? If it's not too thick, you just, it will be easy for you to tack. So when you're done with that, you just keep arranging. All you just need is just to keep arranging. Arrange it the way you want. Just arrange it the way you want it to stay. Arrange it, then you tack. Arrange it, then you tack. Arrange it, then you tack. That is just all we'll keep doing till you get the desired shape you want. Till you get the desired shape you want. So then this middle part, where you can see it's still the band that is going to that middle part, you can pick the two parts and sew it, stitch it, as in use your needle and thread, because you can't use sewing machine at this point. You can't use sewing machine again. So you use your needle and thread and sew that and tack that back down. You tack it down. Can you see? Then when you are done doing that, see that mark that we mark in the beginning? Yeah, that's it now. So you go ahead and pin it and you stitch, and remember it's your head circumference. You have to stitch that part. It's very important. So you pin it, you go ahead and stitch on that mark. That's it. Just go ahead and stitch on it. Can you see? Go ahead and stitch on it. So I've gone ahead to stitch it. You stitch it all the way to the band. You stitch all the band down. So when you are done, you continue with any other tacking you want to tack. You go ahead and tack. You can see it's still that midpoint. I have not tacked it, so I'm just still explaining. You go ahead and tack it down, and this is what we have. This is what we have. It's so beautiful, and it's not that difficult to make, right? So guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.